Hello, everybody, and welcome to Comics News Today. I am Chester C. Busby III, and of course, I am joined here by my panelist. We have the amazing Booster down from New Zealand. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you, Chester?
I am awesome, man. And of course, I'm also joined by the Denali Lama himself. How you doing today, Denali?
Hey, Chester. Good to be your co host here today. And aloha, everybody else. I hope you're having a fantastic Sunday or Monday, depending on where you are in the world. And let's get to the news.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, before we get to that, though, of course, we want to give out all our information. Of course, guys, we have our links down below. And one of the things you can do to help us out is by sharing out that link. And of course, we appreciate the like and the subscribes too. It's amazing the amount of support we get. But hitting that share
I
button,
love
letting
both
everybody
those
know
things.
is awesome. What do you
Mm.
what do you say, Booster?
I love both subscribes and likes. They're my favorite things.
They are. Yeah, so make
Mm.
Booster happy, please.
Yeah.
Um, also, we have our links for me at my Facebook and Twitter, and those are basically get in touch with me in regards to being on the show and being a guest. And we do have a new fan guest coming up here on Monday, but we'd love to have you on the show. And it's also if you need to get in touch with me in regards to being an artist on the fan edition of Drawing a Quarter, that's another good place to get a hold of me. We also have our podcast and we have our donation link. And if you feel so kind as to donate to us and help us improve the show, it would be much appreciated. Now, Denali, we got anything else we want to announce to the folks before we get into the news today?
All right, the topic that we're going to be reviewing on Tuesday for Bugs Bear Basement is going to be the Amazing Spider Man issue 129, the first appearance of Punisher. So that's the Amazing Spider Man 129.
Absolutely, man. All right, well, let's go ahead and get right into that news, guys.
It's the intro Denali.
It was. And Denali wasn't paying attention, but that's okay. We have an intro that has Denali now speaking over it. Isn't that wonderful?
Absolutely.
I actually love the idea of a little intro with Denali doing a jingle for going news today.
Yeah, that would be cool. That'd be cool. All right, guys. Now I see we got a bunch of people over here in the chat with us, and thank you guys very much. We have Draken is in here, and he says he's first because Chester cheated. Yes, Chester did cheat. We got Joshua, our favorite troll, of course. Eagle 43. Hello, how are you doing? We have Eric N. Boyd. Nice to see you in here, sir. We have Sierra Whiskey. He says, hello, Busbians. Captain Canada. Oh! Booster on down voted. Okay, very, very good. All right, guys, let's talk
You're
about our
done,
first thing here. Now, Denali, we're going to start out with this right here. And why don't you tell the folks what this is about?
So Marvel's The Eternal character lineup possibly reveal. Basically, we're talking about the upcoming Eternals movie that might come out in the next year or 2020, and they're showing the possible lineup from that series. According to the THS, that hack tag show. So basically, they were able to get some information about the 2020 flicks.
Well, the first thing I want to say is Comic Marvel here, this channel, comicbook.com. Please stop putting a solid white border, a bunch of everything, and locks out the whole screen. Stop doing that, please. But other than that, what they're doing is showing the lineup here. And of course, they have Star Fox, they have Piper, Elysius, Gilgamesh, Icarus, Circe, Makari, Athena, and Zurus. Now, you guys are saying, oh, but I don't know who they are. Well, I think we should probably talk to them about who they are. Don't you think, Denelli?
Absolutely, yes.
I think so. And the cool thing about these characters is, and I've got them up here on the screen for everybody to take a look at, is I like these characters. I've always enjoyed the Eternals, and I, of course, would love to hear from the chat for those of you who have read it and enjoyed
Didn't,
it as well.
didn't Jack Kirby just rip off the New Gods?
Well, they're both Jack Kirby, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and basically he started this at Marvel, and with these guys, and there was the whole debacle about with him, and he got mad and he quit, and they went over to DC and created the New Gods because that's what he was wanting to do at Marvel. And then he ended up coming back because DC was made him mad, and he quit there and he came back over to Marvel. But I don't know. Kirby was a pretty fiery guy, and there was probably a lot of politics going on about controlling this and that and all those other things. But this right here on the screen in front of you guys is a character called Star Fox. Now, Star Fox is an important character in Marvel. Not even if you don't recognize who he is, and even if you don't like his costume, which a lot of people don't, because he is the brother of Thanos.
Yes, but not purple. So
But he's not
Thanos
purple.
wins.
Well, they all have their powers and
Okay,
abilities.
so you got like the good genes, I see.
Well, they all have their power that represents what they are and can do, and some of them look inhuman. And that was not a pun, by the way, even though they're related. Nevertheless, but this is Star Fox. Now, I have a feeling. I'm not sure, Denali. I don't know if Star Fox will play a major role in it. I have a feeling it might be one of the other characters. What do you think?
Well, I think they would have Star Fox because he is the brother of Thanos, and that would be an interesting dynamic moving forward if
It
they
would be.
decide to keep Thanos.
It would be, yeah. But I'm not really sure is that what they're going to do. But let's go through here and take a look at these other characters. Now we have this other character here, which is Elysius, and they've mentioned her in the article, so I imagine we might well see her. Of course, we also have Zuros, who is a very powerful character, and yes, that name is Zeus-like, and it's done intentionally. And then we have this big other collection here, and I just threw them all on the page together. Now, if we look at the article. This guy right here, it's in the center, is probably the character of, excuse me, not probably. This is the character of Icarus, and I've noticed in the comics they've really preferred using him a lot more, especially in the past decade or so. So I'm having a feeling that Icarus would probably play a much more prominent role than he did in the original Kirby, Inception. But here we have some characters here. I'll come over here and I'll talk them out. This over here is Gilgamesh. Oh no, this is Gilgamesh. This is I can't remember that one's name offhand. This is the Piper. This is Cersei. So they have all these characters they've mentioned here. Now, obviously, these are all white peoples, and I have a feeling that some of these will be race changed. And I don't necessarily have a problem with that, especially seeing as the Eternals are less known. I think that's probably a fair point.
Yeah, no, lesser known characters always open to race swapping, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure that there are going to be like the two hardcore fans of these minor characters are like, how dare they? Well,
of course.
I don't know. We'll see about it.
Of course. But it is cool that they're starting to talk about who's going to be in it, line up. This is certainly moving forward. It's starting to heat up, and I'm excited.
Quasar?
They might tie Quasar in. They could tie Quasar in. I'm not sure if they will, Denali. What do you think?
Well, there's always a possibility because they're trying to open the cosmic universe. So having more having superheroes in the cosmic universe is always a good thing.
I think so. And I see Beowulf's down in the chat, dude. If you want to come and join us, you can. The link is right there in the Discord, dude.
I don't know. He doesn't have to come in.
I'm sorry, I forgot. There's a little bit of a competition going on with the sexy Australian and the not so sexy Hobbit New Zealander. Is that what you're trying to say?
That was almost accurate. I'd say it was the okay sounding Australian and the extremely heterosexual sounding Booster, whose voice melts all the ladies. But that's a common mistake, I'd say.
I'd say, yeah, I'd agree. But Beowulf, it doesn't matter if you're out of the loop, dude. We're just talking news. We're just talking about comic books. You can come in if you'd like.
Yeah. But getting back to Quasar, I think it might work because one of them did have a connection to Marvel Boy, who was the predecessor to the one who Wendell, who became Quasar. So they could always introduce the gauntlets with Marvel Boy connected to the Eternals, and then make Quasar themselves, afterwards, if they
True.
decided to do it.
That's true. And we have Manny's cousin Manuel in here too. Right, guys. Let's that we're just keeping you up. We want to talk about it a little bit with the Eternals, and we'll keep talking about that news as it comes in, guys. But it's looking cool. I hope that they do a good job with it, and the cosmic aspect of the Marvel Universe has worked really well, right? I mean, it's arguable that the Guardians of the Galaxy are the most successful movies they've put out. I mean, those things are really truly loved, and for good reason. They're fun, and that whole James Gunn and Dave Bautista debacle is really, really unfortunate. And hopefully they can save that. And we talked about that a little bit yesterday. But let's move on to the next thing here. Ooh, Kevin Conroy reveals he thinks Batman the Animated Series is still highly revered. And of course, Kevin Conroy, for everyone who doesn't know, is the voice of Batman in the animated series. And this is a nice little article, I think, Denelli. Why don't you tell the folks about it?
Right. So he's being interviewed by Geek Titans, and one of the things that he talks about, which really why I really want to talk about this article, was I was really served so well by the script they wrote. They never condescended to the audience, and they never condescended to the materials. They respected the audience, and they respected the material. And that's why when you look at it now as an adult, I look at these shows and I think this still looks so new, this still looks so fresh, because it was always created to appeal to people on many different levels. So, and that's a hallmark, from my opinion, of a good story. Mm-hmm. It's an appealment that, any ages can get instead of just one. And it's something to be said that creators that, when we look fondly on shows and movies and cartoons or any medium, why they're so revered is because the creators, authors, or illustrators respect the audience and naturally assume that if you don't get it when you're 9, you will get it when you're 15. But either way, whether you're 9 or 15 or 32 or 56, you're going to enjoy the work.
Yeah, and this is nothing new. Looney Tunes did the same thing, 80 years ago, 90 years ago, whenever it came out. I mean, this is just storytelling, good storytelling. And of course, this is the thing we've been complaining about for quite a while here, is the lack of storytelling. I mean, the good or bad art aside, the storytelling has been really atrocious. It's not storytelling at all. You want to have something that is layered. You want to have something that appeals to various ages of people. And Batman the Animated Series really did that well. I love that, and I still love that, and it still looks gorgeous. So kudos to them. But I think the statement Denali is trying to making is that the people these days over at Marvel and DC need to be paying attention to not condescending the audience. How about that?
What an absolute amazing idea, right? Not condescending the audience to get their attention, their approval, their fascination. What? Oh, that sounds like some disgusting capitalist speak, I say.
Yes, you would think so, or maybe just standard human speak. But they're too busy informing us because we're ignorant fools that are evil, and they're trying to help us because they know what's better. That's what it comes down to. But Batman, the animated series, is awesome, and if you haven't seen it, go watch this thing because it kills. And of course, it also, other than having Conroy here as Batman, it also, of course, has the legendary Mark Hamill as the Joker. And now a lot of people, especially recently with the debacle at Star Wars, talking about Mark Hamill a lot, and of course Luke Skywalker. But to be honest, and this might be sacrilege, and do not hurt me too bad for this statement, but I much prefer Mark Hamill as the Joker. This is who Mark Hamill is to me. It's just insane how awesome he was as the Joker. Does anyone agree with me or disagree with me on that?
Oh, I definitely agree. Yeah. He made the Joker.
Yes, he did. What about you, Tinelli? Do you think that is a sacrilegious statement from me?
No. That's why you have Mark Hamill always being sought after when they're making another Joker cartoon, a video game with Batman. They have to have these two guys. asset as these characters because they didn't inhabit it. So there's no way that they could do it. I also like Richard Mole with his amazing performance as Harvey Dent.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, there's so many great performances in that, man. I mean, it's just a really wonderful show. I mean, some of the most memorable episodes in my mind are the ones with Man Bat. I mean, they're really well done, right? They're
Right.
scary.
My favorite is the Two-Face two-parter.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
one too. That's one he was just talking about. But
Love that one.
Or Ron Perlman as Clayface.
oh yes, dude, yes, 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 yes. And Joshua Hughes, of course, has an opinion and says, "I know what's better, and you are ignorant fools." Wah ha 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 ha. Okay. Booster to replace Mark Hamill. No, no.
Oh, I'm afraid I couldn't.
Okay.
No,
All
no,
right.
no. He said replace Mark Hamilton. So I guess.
Oh, that works then.
I mean, Lynn. Lynn.
No,
I can't do a Mark Hamill Joker to save my life.
No,
It's actually very difficult.
yeah, it is difficult. I've tried it a little bit before, but it is wonderful though. Especially, I love the little the Killing Joke and the very last little bit of that was really well done too in the animated movie. But anyway, moving on. Next one here. Oh goodness, Denali.
So they're introducing a prequel comics that shows Captain Marvel was Nick Fury's Avenger Plan B all along.
All the while,
You know.
yes, absolutely.
All the while.
Now, before we even get into that, let's have the conversation of for the past decade or more, and I think they've done it before, but the past decade or more, where Marvel tries to adjust their comic books or puts out special comic books in direct relation to the movies. Now, me personally, I hate that. I hate it. They're not connected. They don't need to be connected. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is a thing unto itself. The comic books are a thing unto themselves. They don't need to be connected. We don't get too mad when they do their adjustments and stories and stuff. Some people do, but for the most part, we're like, hey, yeah, I get it. You're making a movie. You got to make some adjustments there because you got 2 hours to tell a story. You don't have 50 comic books, right? So I get it. But for me, I like the separation, and I hate it when they do this nonsense and from a general purpose point of view from me. What do you guys feel about them making comic books that are directly referencing or directly connecting a story to a movie when that's not been the case? They're basically they're altering canon. What do you guys
It's
feel
so
about that?
unnecessary.
I feel kind of annoyed when they try to do that with comics, but they can't do that with the Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show, which would have been the perfect vehicle for that.
Hmm.
Or, maybe the Marvels and, the Netflix TV show, but they can definitely do a comic book that not a lot of people are going to read kind of deal. This would be awesome, like the Secret Wars. They could have done that through Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. While you're seeing all the movies, this is what happened behind the scenes and what everybody else is getting to. And, if had they done that through Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., you could use Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. as a hype machine to build up the movies even grander as an event. So they're like, oh, we found Captain Marvel and this is what's going on. The last season would be all about finding Captain Marvel and then say coming soon, Captain Marvel. And then you go with the Avengers Infinity War and you see Nick Fury, paging Captain Marvel and you're like, oh, that's where they're going. Yeah, cool kind of deal. But this is just kind of ham-fisted and kind of not really thought out, which is another issue that's going on, that really there shouldn't be two heads for this property. It's because they're not communicating each other. The television and the movie, there should be one head for both of those to coordinate the whole thing. Otherwise, that's why we're having such a lame luster where they're saying, oh, it's all connected, but it doesn't really connect kind of deal. Only one affects the other.
Where has Captain Marvel been for the last 20 years?
or more.
In space.
I mean, like in the last 20 years of the movie canon, right? She wasn't
Yeah.
there for the first Avengers movie when the planet was attacked, right? Because of course
Yeah.
she couldn't be, retroactively speaking. But it's just going to be a bit of trouble making this character sit in the 80s. Yeah, we're going to have the idea that this character ignored all of the disasters that were upcoming until finally they called Thanos, because apparently she was the plan B all along. Why the hell wasn't she plan A? If she's just so damn great, wonderful. Is she lazy? Does she not care? Or did she, I don't know, crash a plane into a frozen lake and stayed frozen for 20 or odd years? I don't know.
I'm sure they'll try to like explain it away in some kind of silly way like that. But they would have been a lot. It would have been a lot better if they had just finished with the story they're doing, introduced the Kree, or the Skrull or whatever, and have that as a threat that was going on in the next phase, and have the thing with Captain Marvel, or of course they'd probably have to change his name, to come on
Hmm.
down and have the whole love story between her and him, have him dying and then her taking over the mantle. It's a wonderful romantic love story, you could tell. Right?
Hmm.
And that would have built the character up. We would have seen the character go and become part of the story, and it would have been cool, right? Well, that's how you do it, right? But now we're just introducing this. We're going with that absolute tripe series that came out of DeCormick, that's basing on it. And we have this person who does not now know how to emote, even in real life. Although I can't, I am the Brie Larson whisperer. Just remember that.
Right. I mean, look at this face. It doesn't even change even when they're putting
She can't
special
emote.
effects.
I mean, it's crazy, right? An actress who cannot emote. Are you kidding me?
Hmm.
Right, let me come over here to the chat real quick. Manuel Correa, or Manny, he says the horror. Draken says if they want the comics to reflect the movie/TV show, they should make the movie/TV show follow the friggin' canon to begin with. Okay, like I said, you can do that, or I do understand, and if it's going to be separate, keep it separate. I get it. Me Grimlock King 83. Let me read that again. Me Grimlock King 83 is a stupid. It is a stupid idea. This is just another attempt by Marvel to force Captain Marvel as a flagship character, which she's not. No, she's not. She never has been.
That
Spider-Man
is
is the
so
flagship.
different to convince us otherwise, but yeah, they'll never remove Spider-Man from the flagship position as long as they will keep trying to sneak Captain Marvel in there as long as Sony holds the rights to Spider-Man.
I mean, to be fair, you could push Captain America a little bit, but it always comes back to Spidey.
Yeah,
But,
of course.
Yeah, you
But,
know.
man, is Infinity War Part 2 going to be a drag or what? If Captain Marvel is going to be like the big freaking savior of it all?
Well,
I actually enjoyed Part 1, but
I loved it.
Well,
Yeah.
well, they are going to make Captain Marvel come first, and it's probably going to lead up to Avenger 4, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
At this point, and you'll see her be like Superman. Hey guys, I'm here after being lost in space for so long, but I won't talk like this. This is too much
Yeah.
emotion.
Yes.
How we doing, lads?
Hey, how's it going, man? Nice
Good.
to have you in here with us, and of course, Booster just shrank about 2 feet. Yeah, you got an opinion here on this Captain Marvel movie coming up, man?
Well, to touch on the comic book issue, like we mentioned a while ago, how Marvel Comics had missed a huge opportunity when they had the success of the movie franchise, and they failed to capitalize on that by having the same comic book characters out. You know, they had female Thor instead of the Thor that the kids wanted, and so on and so forth. So there is an opportunity for them here, but I think they're doing it the wrong way, trying to tie it into the movies. They should keep it separate and just kind of ride its coattails. But yeah, I've got so little enthusiasm for this upcoming movie, so I'm not really following it.
No, I get you, man. And like I said, I've been saying all along, we just kind of just wait and see what Kevin Feige does. He's done so well so far. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to. But the thing with them keep pushing Captain Marvel, beside the fact that they're not creating good books for us to actually embrace her, is the fact that her books, if you go look at Comic-Con or something like that, what you're going to see is her books are on the bottom of the floor all the time. They don't sell. But they keep bringing it back, new number ones, new series. But every time it fails miserably, but they keep bringing it back because they're desperate. We stupid people need to understand that a female lead, a Marvel, is the future, and that's what it is. And just give up already and accept it. And I'm be like, well, you know what? If you wrote really good stories about Captain Marvel and made me love her, I would have no problem with that. But they don't.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do? Let's see here.
Not buy it.
Yeah,
Go
no,
away.
that's what we do. We don't buy it.
Make our own comics. Support other people who actually listen to us. Yes.
Yeah. Now,
all yes to that.
Joshua says, hopefully Captain Marvel won't be like OP Justice League movie Superman and make the rest of the team seem useless. Well, to be fair with you, Joshua, that's the first time I've ever seen Superman actually displayed as he is. The only thing that was cool in the entire Justice League movie was the Superman fight scene, because it showed Superman he is a force that you cannot deal with, and that is what Superman is, which is why it's so hard to write Superman. So I don't agree with you, Joshua. McGrimlock King A3 says they're really trying it with all the reboots she's gotten, and the fact that Feige has already said that the Phase 4 is going to be built around her. Just terrible. Yeah. I keep wanting to say trust Feige, but I feel guilty about saying it now, Denelli.
Well, we'll see. I feel it's I don't want to preemptively say things suck, but sometimes everyone's right. We've been surprised every now and then. Brie Larson may surprise us all.
She might. She might smile once. Draken says,
yeah, I'm not going to say it's going to suck, but I'd rather go into the cinema with low expectations and get surprised than go in with high expectations.
There you go.
That's a good way of doing it. Yeah. That's how I deal with life.
Draken says they did the same thing with Wonder Woman. She continually fails, and as a result, it was rebooted over and over again, and is called part of the Trinity. But she's never really been popular, as far as I know. Well, she's had her moments in the sun, I would say. But yeah, I've never cared for Wonder Woman myself. To be honest with you, my favorite female character was always Captain Marvel or Miss Marvel. But they went and ruined her, which ticks me off more than anybody. But then again. Well, I'm a controversy because they say that men don't like female characters. So, I guess I'm lying to myself. Booster.
Wonder Woman's the best part of the DC cinematic universe for me.
Well, absolutely.
I watch that film over and over again.
I'm talking about comics-wise, though. If you really read right through a Wonder Woman one or picked up like a Wonder Woman run.
Yeah.
Can't say I have.
I've never cared for her much, yeah. But speaking of...
She was good in, I love her in some of the animated Justice League stuff, and I love her in books like Trinity. But other than that, no, she's never really been like her own shining thing. She can't carry anything herself, except for, of course, the movie she was in.
That reminds me. That's kind of like, have you guys watched Narcos? You guys watch Narcos at all?
Yeah.
Right. Now you have that fella that's in the season 4, I think it is, here with Narcos Mexico. And you got the guy playing Kiki. I can't think of the character actor's name offhand. And he's in a ton of movies, and he's really good as a supporting guy, but he's supposed to be taking a more lead role. He can't do it. He's just not a lead guy. And of course, but luckily, the criminal side of the Narcos story, that is amazing. There's some great acting and great things going on there. But yeah, there's just some characters that can't take the lead, and that's okay. They're great supporting characters. You need that too, right? You need the sidekick. So. But anyway, speaking of controversial females, Denali, talk to us, man.
Here comes a ray of light. Anyway, so basically they're starting to acknowledge that Star Wars having a backlash, and J.J. Abrams are changing 2 problems with rays. And this is from express.co.uk. Which you put everything in this grain of salt. But the 2 main points from this article is that they're rewriting the script to give her an important family lineage. and the second one is because of her overpoweredness of the Force and everything. It's going to be tied to that important family lineages, which ends up being 0. So 0 equals plus 0 divided by 0 times 0 equals 0, which is Rey.
There you go. You heard it from Denali himself with his expert math of zero-sum gains. Yeah, no, the Rey character, I think what's most interesting to me in this article, and I think it's the more interesting conversation than just okay, now Rey has parents, is this. Um, you know, when they brought in Rey, they were basically trying to replace Luke. It's a soft reboot, right? Is what it is, right? And they
Right.
they brought her in, and that this is what J.J. Abrams and however many thousand of writers were involved in it, which is pretty obvious to see because that first movie, The Force Awakens, is so full of plot holes. But beyond that, they brought her in, and she was obviously a Mary Sue, which is all right, well, whatever, fine. But the real problem is J.J. Abrams had laid down an idea that he had set. Okay, whatever, good or bad, doesn't matter. He had his idea laid out, and then this Rian Johnson jackass came in, and it seemed to me that he was intentionally messing with J.J. Abrams. It's like, oh, you were going to do this? Ha! Are you going to do that? Ha ha! I screwed you over. That's what I felt. This Rian Johnson literally was screwing J.J. Abrams on the story he was trying to set up, and now J.J.'s trying to fix it.
Subverting expectations. Ooh.
Yeah, well,
yeah, that's who he really was subverting expectation with. But here's the point, and here's the reason. There's 2 points to the article that we should take solace of. One, the main media is now recognizing there is a backlash. It's no longer Russian bots. It's no longer a small minority vote or voice that's yelling about it. It's a real backlash. And we kind of briefly touched about it.
Figure it out.
Yeah, we briefly touched about it because what happened in September was the annual report, the end of the fiscal year. You know what happened there? They raised up the prices of theme parks about 60%. So about to offset the cost of all the money they've lost. And you know what else they've been noticing? A lot of people for Star Wars Galaxy Edge, they've been canceling the reservations to go there. So they're already losing money on a franchise that's already losing money. Even their sales for Solo and DVDs of The Last Jedi has not been matching up to the sales of previous Star Wars, and that's including Rogue One and The Force Awakens. That's why you're seeing Cassian Andor, because that was a movie that people dug, and the goodwill and all that stuff. And that's why you're seeing The Mandalorian. And they're betting their bets, putting their bets on that they can win the fans back. Both of those shows are behind a paywall, which is Disney Plus. So you're telling a already skeptical and not caring audience, and that's gives me goosebump and shiver, because people not caring about Star Wars is never a good thing. But you put them behind a paywall to see them. Nobody wants to see that after this whole debacle, unless people that I see about, when they talk about Star Wars, Episode 9, yeah, they seem disinterested, and they're like looking, Jumanji, The Rock 2 is going to come up around that time. I hear more excitement for The Rock's sequel of Jumanji than I do for Episode 9.
That is shocking, dude. That is
That's
shocking.
awful.
And this whole nonsense with trying to blame just a bunch of nerds, a small minority of nerds, is stupid. My wife is the most traditional countryside Japanese mom you could find. She doesn't know hardly anything about the internet. I mean, seriously, she's not part of this world at all. She's just a mom. And that movie, Episode 9, The Last Jedi, angered her so much she's done. She's done with Star Wars completely, and she is a big fan of it. She loves Star Wars more than I do, right? So there is your demographic right there. The countryside mom who will not watch your movie again because you screwed it up so badly, you know. But and I don't really get into the whole thing beside with Ray. I mean, because this is another thing that's a whole side issue. This is another thing that ticks me off about the what's going on in Hollywood right now. Like you look at Adam Driver here, right? Now, this guy, before he did The Last Jedi, he was in a movie with Scorsese where he played as priest in Japan, and he had lost a ton of weight, and he was scrawny and frail and sickly looking for the part. And then when we saw him in Last Jedi, he bulked up, man. He was fit and good looking. If you remember they had to do the shirtless scene with him, of course, for the ladies, I guess, because Adam
Weird
Driver's.
old pants.
Well, you know what I mean, dude. But I mean, he
Yeah.
bulked himself up. He cut himself out. But how many of these leading females do you see these days that bother to do anything about their body, which is what they're selling, right? Like, see this Ray girl, this Daisy Ridley, she come up and they said, oh, she practiced so much. No, she didn't, dude. She looked horrible. She looked chubby and flabby. She's knock-kneed. And she's sitting there throwing a lightsaber around like an absolute amateur. Now, I've done a lot of fencing and stuff in my life, so maybe I'm a little bit more particular because, I actually know what a sword should look like in movement. But I mean, it doesn't matter. She looked horrible. She didn't look cool. She didn't look like she practiced at all. So why are the men out there buffing themselves out, killing themselves, to make themselves look good for their character because that's what they're selling? But none of these females are doing it. Why is that? We've seen females do it before. I mean, think about Sigourney Weaver. Think about that Linda Carter out of the Terminator. We've seen ladies do it before. Why aren't they doing it now? Because they're a bunch of entitled little brats who think they're owed shit. I do
Okay.
apologize, and I'll take that swear job on myself. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Welcome to
So-
the Red Pill Hour with Chester Busby, where
Right.
you'll get your daily dose of misogyny.
Well, you know what I'm saying. It's
And
true,
Gal-
dude.
And like Vanette said, Gal Gadot does work because she was also part of the military, so that's a point for her for the
Gal
Israel
Gadot
military.
is, woo, boy. She,
But to answer Joshua Hugh, waiting for the Clone Wars season 7. Don't expect that it's going to be the same Clone Wars from season 1 to season 6, because if you remember a couple weeks ago or a month ago, news like this passed crazy enough fast that it blurs all together. They canceled Star Wars: The Clone War because it was too violent.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
it wasn't for the Disney. So they Disneyfy it, and you got Rogue One, and now you Disneyfy it even more, and you got the Resistance. So they are doing, they're going to Disneyfy season 7, and you're going to see Disney, The Clone War season 7.
Yeah, did you see much of that Clone Wars show, though, bro? It was actually really freaking violent for a kid's show.
It was, but I don't think it was for
Like
kids. To be
necks
honest with you.
cracking, people getting choked, people getting stabbed, chopped in half. It was pretty nuts. For
Hey, Booster, can
Right.
you do me a favor, man? Can you go read catch us up on the chats, please?
I can catch up on the chats. So what do we got? John Diller
But-
Gaming the System is here, and he says, "I think Ray looks like a greasy kid. 0 out of 10."
Shit.
Just your goose says, "So are you on Team Raven?" Skip. Dennis, is that Parak?
Parak, yeah.
He's Nanali. This is for Nanali, in fact. To this day, I condemned Ruin was the one kid who grew. So I'm guessing he means Ryan Johnson. He's calling him Ruin. I contend that he was the one kid who grew up not liking Luke Skywalker.
Probably.
Draken says Barbara Gordon is more important to the DC universe than Wonder Woman is, in my opinion.
No, that's interesting. She is more tied in. That's a good point.
Maybe. And Denali apparently definitely agrees with that. What Dennis Parak said. I see. All right. What else have we got here? I'm Team Chase. Is Derek Tyler? Does he mean Danny Chase? Because he is going to get a lot of flack for that one. John Dillard calls your wife Mrs. Bias.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Valnid says the only likable and interesting character in Rogue One was K2SO.
Yeah, it
I
was a
don't
cool
think
character.
Cassian Andor will be drawn at all. So K2SO, I'm going to have to actually quickly Google that for because I didn't see Rogue One.
Oh, dude, that's
Yeah,
one of the
I see.
best Star Wars movies that Disney has made, man.
No, I have heard such mixed things about that, bro. All right.
I loved
Dennis
it.
Barrick is here again. He says, I liked TFA, Force Awakens, I imagine. Saw it 5 times, taking different groups of friends, and rented a theater for Force Awakens. And he hated Last Jedi. Begrudgingly slept through second showing to take nephew. And Joshua Hughes is Team Raven, and I skip. And Durakin says, I think Booster is a failure.
Tess Monkey says, so inks. Are
So-
we DC Universe now?
My old friend.
All right, Beowulf, why don't you chime in on this before we move on to the next story, man?
Oh, what to say after all that? I might be one of the few guys who thinks that Daisy Ridley's actually pretty good looking, but I do agree with you on the sword fighting. She could have done with some more practice there. But
You think? Yeah.
But
I think
that's that's a bit of a problem with
wouldn't
a lot of the Star Wars lightsaber fights. They're either not rehearsed enough or they're over rehearsed, and so I don't know.
What you're telling us, Beowulf, is you think that 12-year-old boys are attractive.
Oh my goodness. And that'll be all today. Thanks.
Got the news.
Well, I mean, she's not attractive, but as she was, in my opinion, a lot of people's opinion, but I think she was chosen to be androgynous. I think that's the whole point. They want her to be androgynous.
Oh, man. Oh, the chat is absolutely turning against me. Booster ignores gatekeepers also, says Manuel. Unsub to Booster. Test Monkey 13A says kick Booster. And Dennis says Disney spent Star Wars credibility. Have to make good stuff before I'll double dip again. Oh, absolutely. They'll have something brilliant to make up for the crap they've been putting out.
All right, well, let's move on to our last story of the day. That was a lot of fun. And we could talk Star Wars for a long time. And, one of these days, I want us to come back and do a very positive Star Wars talk. I think we should talk about the original trilogy again. But let's go into this. And this is kind of interesting little article here. Denelli, why don't you catch us up on this, man?
All right, so the TMZ had learned a couple of days ago that The Weeknd, for those who know, and for those who don't know, it doesn't really matter, but he's a musician or whatever, not really important. The Weeknd is being sued for using his alter ego Starboy in a comic book. As you know, Marvel has the Starboy trademark because who doesn't have Starboy when they have Starman, Marvel, and all that stuff? So they sue him for trademark infringement, and it's kind of funny. But that's the whole thing about it. Weeknd is using Starboys, and Marvel is suing trademark infringement because he's using it in a comic book.
Okay, so Starboy is owned by Marvel, you say. Does anyone recognize the Starboy name at all?
I know of Starmans, but they're from DC.
That's DC, right?
I've never heard of a Starboy.
Anybody? Starboy?
Never heard of it.
No.
So they're just being.
I mean that's still DC because that's Starboy, which is Legions of Superhero.
Yeah, okay, but this is, you said Marvel,
right? Which is kind of funny, but I guess they have a character named Starboy in their pantheon that is forgotten back because
Yeah, but does he
all
look
about
like this?
Marvel?
I doubt he looks like this. Yeah, but the thing with that is that, of course, Starboy or Starman, it certainly makes me think DC. It's either the Starman or it's the Starboy in the future, Justice League in the future thing. But Yeah, Marvel is always like this. They love suing. They sue about everything. I remember there was a big lawsuit that came up from Marvel about using the word superhero. I remember there was a big lawsuit about them going after the City of Heroes because of people making characters that were similar looking, and they actually had to go and adjust their character creator, which was a great character creator in that game, to try to keep that from happening. Marvel
Wow.
loves suing. They're always suing people. And it's very ironic and funny. Well, it's not really, but we use that word this way. But it's very funny for me that now Mark Waid is being sued. And of course, he's being sued because of him representing Marvel and going out and intimidating a smaller creator into dropping a publication. Isn't that funny?
Hmm.
I think it's funny. I hope they get
It's
sued
really
more.
I do. I hope he gets sued way more for the 75,000 that Richard is asking for.
Hmm.
I hope they empty his damn pockets.
Oh, well, they gave him a ton of money, so he's probably going to be fine. But I mean,
Hmm.
if you talk about lawsuit, why don't we sue Marvel over their workers threatening to knock people's teeth out with baseball bats, or wishing people are dead, or all the other hateful and horrible, nasty things they say? Why don't we start suing them more and more and more and more? Because hey, Marvel's all about the lawsuits, so
Mhm.
why not? If it's good for the
Why
goose,
not?
it's good for the gander, right?
Mhm.
But anyway, just a little bit of story that means nothing, I think. But there it is.
Yeah.
Marvel suing again for no good reason. Because, like I said, Starboy, Marvel, that doesn't connect with me at all. And I know a lot about Marvel. I'm a Marvel guy. Starboy? Really? Whatever. Joshua Hughes says, Chester, you want to do a positive Star Wars talk? Then talk about the amazing prequel trilogy and how Revenge of the Sith is better than the 2/3 of the original series. Okay, well, Joshua, hello. How you doing, Joshua? Okay, bye, Joshua. Um,
Yeah, he had that one coming.
Yeah, he did. All right, guy. Coming over to Indicron. Just finish up real quick, and of course, we talk about Indicron every day here because one, it's awesome. Two, it's extremely useful to the community and not only the consumers but the creators. Also, Indicron is our sponsor with Pixel Trader. Thank you very much. And Indicron's got a lot of stuff going on, guys. There's some really cool things coming up, and this is going places. It is going places, and that's exactly what we've been talking about, particularly on FanSpeak. But we've been talking about all along. Indicron is where we need to focus the attention to try to take some of the pressure off these big guys. Because I mean, simple thing with Ethan, all that scandal aside that happened a while back, he there's too much pressure on him, right? This guy
Yeah.
is, if he's not has you on his channel enough, then people are yelling, screaming, "Why didn't you have me on more? Why aren't you making me money?" Well, that's not fair. That's not fair at all, dude. Indicron's the place because you go over here, you can find everything you need to find. So let's come down here and let's take a look at some stuff. And we got Beowulf back after a while, which is really awesome. So Beowulf, we're going to come through here. We like to talk about some of the smaller ones to try to give them a leg up. So you see these things on your screen right here. Why don't you pick one of these and we'll go take a look at it, dude.
All right, let's have a look.
So while he's looking at that, I just want to take a moment to remind everybody if they could please like, if you haven't liked, hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed, and hit that share button if you haven't shared, because sharing is caring.
300 subs. That's really cool.
Yeah. We are moving up.
Going in places, lads. Going places.
What do you think,
There's
Beowulf?
a lot more stuff here than when I was last on.
Sure. There definitely
What's
is.
this?
You've been away for, what was it, 2 weeks? You have missed a lot of nonsense, that's for sure.
Yeah, trying to catch up is pretty crazy. What's this Chateau Obsidian? This looks kind of interesting.
Let me see here. Did I miss it? Oh, Chateau Obsidian, a graphic novel. This one's still going on. We haven't talked about this one yet, have we, Danelli?
We briefly looked at it as one of the new projects that was listed on back. It's also a United Kingdom project, which, as we recall talking about it with Pixel, there's that international fee that people get on top of whatever they
That is true.
play. So that's something that I think people hesitate when they hear, "Oh, this is an international fee," kind of deal.
No, there is. You got to pay extra for it, and that's something that they should have
I
done
feel
the
very
research
think
for
I feel.
and put in here. Now, just to keep in mind, guys. Now my brother is involved with shipping and stuff like that. That's what he does for his living right now, and he's actually gathering some information for us. So that we can actually list out all these extra little hidden fees and taxes and all those kind of things that happen with distribution. And the cool thing about that is there's a lot of people in the community that are doing things just like that. They are gathering information, helping to give the community an understanding of stuff so that we can improve ourselves, and that's very, very cool. But excuse me. But I did check this before. I remember we looked at it very briefly, but this page is already improved. Denali, look what they've done up top. This is different.
Yes, so they probably they took everything that we had an opinion of to heart, and kind of what we were mentioning. So this is very awesome. They have changed it a lot.
They have.
Awesome.
They put it featured up. Yeah, no, this is cool, man.
That's really cool. Did they actually listen to us, or
They
did they
did.
hear it from someone else?
I don't know. I mean, it's sound advice, so someone else could have been talking about it too. But we've definitely been harping on it for quite a while. Yeah, no, it looks better. They've improved the page. Oh, look at that. That's nice, man. Look at that picture. I like that. Okay.
It's got
Well,
a
anyway,
real
let's go back up the
Guardians
top
of the
on this.
Galaxy and Thor kind of feel to it, doesn't it?
It does. It says Chateau Obsidian, a graphic novel, a generation spanning odyssey through deep space, time, and consciousness. Tasting notes provided. This is an overview right here. Why don't you go ahead and read this, Beowulf?
The story is set in the far future aboard the starship Mayflower. In its first incarnation as a cruise liner, holiday holographer Jack finds himself amongst a deep criminal conspiracy when he takes a picture of the wrong passenger at the wrong time. Meanwhile, something weird is growing in the ship's vineyards even. Centuries later, with the ship in pirate hands, Captain Featherstone must travel deep within the vast ship to confront the mythical Green Man, who has forced a collision course with Earth.
Ooh, interesting. And yes, Booster, I understand. It is just raw Australian sexiness. I get it, dude.
I know his voice is way cooler than mine.
But over here, we see the featured, which is good. We'd like to see that. 20 pounds, which is unfortunate because we know the pound thing kind of scares people away, although the exchange rate is not as bad as it used to be, guys. Because the dollar is...
No, it's not.
No, it's not. And why? Why is the exchange rate much tighter? Oh, Donald Trump. Oh, so that's right. Donald Trump. Thank you. Black Friday specials. Special offer of signed book and 2 art prints for the price of 20 pounds. Sounds cool.
So they did have a feature, which is awesome, which we talk about.
But it isn't being claimed. We're not getting. We've got early bird discount here. People have jumped on that. But that has passed, of course. And yeah, this is not getting much attention. It's the idea sounds cool. It's kind of interesting. Someone at the wrong time, wrong place at wrong time type of story, and those are always fun. It's on a cruise liner in space. I don't know. It sounds cool. It sounds like a good idea.
Yes, we can claim responsibility for the improvement of this page. So in that case, we wouldn't mind a small percentage of anything you guys earn, Shadow Obsidian. We'll accept it at Fanspeak.
Booster, they've made 376 pounds, dude.
Well, they're about to make way more with their improvements. So we'll be okay.
I think people should go back and check it out. Now let's come over here and take a look at the art and see what we think. I like that Green Man face, and of course this is coming out of Celtic legend, I would assume is where it's being borrowed from, the Green Man. And yeah, I don't know. The art isn't super perfect, but it's certainly a style, and it's not bad. What do you guys think of the art here, just in this one panel?
It's more interesting than what he had before, and I could actually see it. So, now I'm more intrigued. And his tagline kind of says, Ulysses 31 meets Transformer the movie 1986 via Sideways. So that's what he would describe this novel graphic novel as.
No, I loved Ulysses 31. I actually preferred that much more than Transformers itself. I know, sacrilege. Uh, but a lot of people might not even know Ulysses 31, but I grew up with that, and that was a great show, man. I love that show. So that's definitely piques my interest. Do you guys know the Ulysses 31?
No.
All right then.
Nope.
And they give a lay down on the story here. They show us some more. I really like this picture right here. That's pretty cool.
I like this woman in red, that this weird weapon device she has on her arm, like the shards of like yellow and pink and blue,
Yeah.
whatever technology that is.
Some kind of gem crafting or spell gems or something like that, maybe. That's not a bad scene. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, but I see what you're saying. They do have a lot of this kind of gem tech. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that
like
must be
earlier up, it looks kind of like it looks like it's all compact on her fist, and then in the later scene, it's all like spread out and floating there in the air. So kind of interesting.
So
It
I
is.
guess that's the Ulysses 31 influence.
Yeah.
Kind of deal there.
All right, it's not a bad looking page. They've certainly improved it. It would be we got some art here. A lot of times they put these pictures up and there's no dialogue. Now I know you don't want to give away your story, but a lot of stories start out with some manner of narration on the first page. It's pretty standard. It would be nice if they just kind of just give us that first page of dialogue. Just get us the little have the narration built into the premise. Even if you change the narration later, that's fine. But just have a little bit of writing on the page. I would prefer. What do you guys think? Is it all right having no dialogue at
You
all?
got to consider it a teaser, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea to have some dialogue in there. Maybe he hasn't got around to lettering yet, but I reckon having some of that dialogue, a real preview even, and end it somewhere that makes people want more, man. You'll hook people fast.
Yeah, especially if you have a really solid little block of narration or something that's really well written and inspires. And of course that also lets the people feel that I like the art and the story looks interesting. It just adds another layer because one of the problems with the way that these the Indiegogos are presented is the fact that we never hardly ever see dialogue at all. So all we have to go on is the art, and I understand that the art draws you in and the writing keeps you. I get it. I get it. But why not sell on both sides of it, man? That's what I would suggest. But I think this is a much better improvement. And of course, the cool thing about showing this here is a little bit of a preview. We're going to be talking about this again. But this guy right here is actually going to be our guest on Monday. So yeah, so he's going to come in as a fan guest and talk, about the news and stuff. But we'll take our Indiegogo section and come in here and dissect this a little bit more. So we're going to take a heavy look at the Chateau Obsidian here today and tomorrow. But I think that's cool. This is a nice looking project. His page is improved, and would like to see him succeed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we
good.
will. Yeah. On Monday we will have a longer conversation with Mr. Benfield, if that's how you pronounce that. Anyway, guys. All right. Well, let's come over here and end up our show for today. It's very nice to have Beowulf back with us. Thank
Good
you
to
for
be
coming,
back.
sir. Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you've been real busy with doing your studies and stuff like that, but
I have, yeah.
that's definitely cool to have you back, and we did miss your sexy voices, especially Booster.
Yeah.
Okay.
His soul sucks. Crushed. Soul crusher.
All right, guys. But anyway, that was a great show. Thank you very much for everybody joining us here. You guys always have interesting things to say and comments and stuff. And it says, watch Ulysses 31, Dennis Perrock says. Well, you should go check that up on the internet because Ulysses 31 was very cool TV animated show from the 80s, 70s maybe. But I used to watch that all the time when I was a kid because, I'm an old guy. But back in those days, I think the TV cartoons were better anyway. But with that said, Beowulf, you've been working on your studies. So how close are you to finishing and getting your licenses and stuff? I mean, you don't have to get into all the details, but just how close are you to being done?
I've got a couple of months left in this semester, and then I can go on to do some further study next year if I want, or try to get into the field into the field that I'm trying to get in at the moment. So we'll see.
Awesome.
Might be another year.
That's cool. Always glad to see people improving themselves. So we got to go ahead and end up for today, guys. DeWolf, excuse me, Beowulf, I don't think you have any contacts information, do you?
Just Twitter. It's at Beowulf Reborn if you want to hook up there, but other than that, not really.
Oh, cool. Okay. And of course, Booster here has an amazing plan, which will never happen, but it is a plan. Why don't you tell him about it?
Oh yeah, noises. I'm trying to get 100,000 subs on my YouTube channel just before I release a video.
Now hold on a second. It used to be 1 million. Why are we down to 100,000? What happened?
I don't recall that at all. It's always the goal. Has also always been a hefty sum of 100,000 subs. So I think that's more than achievable. In fact,
without a single bit of content. Yep. Okay. Good luck to you.
Yeah, of course, easy.
Well, once again, guys, thanks for coming and joining us today. We have our daily show at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'd love to have you back. And we got a couple of things coming up here. Of course, we have Bugbear's Basement on Tuesday, and this Tuesday we're going to be talking about Spider-Man number 129, I believe, Denelli, which,
Correct.
Of course, is the introduction of the Punisher. So basically, we're going to be talking about the Punisher, which is really cool because I love the Punisher. And he's a very controversial character, too, so there should be a lot of good conversation with that. And, of course, coming up this week, we're going to be having the fan edition of Drawn Recorded on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, I do understand, a Thanksgiving for all the Americans, but we got plenty of people that are looking forward to get involved, so think about joining us that night for that. But other than that, as we do every time, we finish out the show with Denelli. Go ahead, Denelli.
Right. So just a little correction. Fan edition is at 10 p.m. Eastern,
10
not
p.m.
8
I'm sorry.
p.m.
I do apologize. Yeah.
But we do have our normal show at 8 p.m. Eastern on this channel. And have we decided yet on which channel is hosting, or it's going to be here? Just to clarify.
No, it will not be here. It's a toss up between two right now, so we can't announce it. But no, it'll definitely be somewhere else, which is what we want. So
definitely. So in the event that usually there's nobody to host it, it kind of defaults here.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
So just to let you guys know, but we will try to get those informations out to you as quickly as possible. Check out the Twitter handle, which is DAQ or DNQFE, which is the Twitter handle for Drawn and Quarter Fan Edition, because Pixel Trader and others who are involved with that will announce those things there. We'll try to announce it on FanSpeak, and we'll try to announce it in each show where we are going for that. We also have a guest, but we got to confirm that this Friday for FanSpeak at 8 p.m. Eastern, so check us out on that time. Otherwise, if we don't catch you for Thanksgiving and you're out after tonight, have a wonderful holiday. Be safe at your travel. And that's always, your perception shapes your reality. So always make it a good one.
Absolutely. Well, later, guys.